We are in the final hour of our Black New Deal Symposium for 2022. And I just, the last two songs are really moving to me. Love is in need. Our people are in need. And so we need everybody to show up. We need all of the folks that are on this call to show up for our people right now. We are going through some serious challenges in the city of Oakland, and we can get through it if we do it together. And one of the ways that we will be able to do that is if we have the economic resources to be able to do so. And working together is one of the things that our next speaker knows a lot about. We have Adrionna Fike of the Mandela Co-op, the Mandela Grocery Co-op, and cooperative economics is something that I believe is what Black folks need to be able to make it through these next challenging economic struggles that we're facing in the city of Oakland. So without further ado, Adrionna, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for the invitation to be here. I will be talking about community economics. I'm going to get my screen share situated. And we're going to get going. I always struggle with this a little bit. Here we go. All right, can y'all see me? See the screen?
Yeah, you're good.
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, so I'm Adrionna Fike. I've been working at Mandela Grocery Co-op for 10 years. So I'm celebrating my 10th year in February. So yay to that. Just want to start by defining some key terms here. So community economics, what we mean by community, how we talk about community at Mandela is community is a group of humans and non-human beings with a common interest living in a particular area. And by economy and economics, how we organize our relationships and priorities in that area. At its core, economy is about how we take care of home, our area, and how we take care of each other in it. So cooperative community economics is the lens that we see through. And for us at the Grocery Cooperative, it's about increasing access to healthy food, meaningful work, and economic democracy on a neighborhood scale in solidarity with cooperators around the world. I love this photo here. It shows, love is in need of love today. It shows an extra loving team, an extra super diverse team. Personally, it's the most diverse team of people I've ever worked with. In this photo, we have a grandparent, a mother-to-be, formerly incarcerated peoples, artists, students. And what we all share in common is deep love and commitment for community, for food access, for economic justice, and it's a beautiful thing. I love that photo. So why worker cooperatives? So worker cooperatives are owned and democratically governed by their members, our members, the workers. Worker cooperatives provide wages and benefits above industry averages across the board. We develop leadership and management skills for our members, workers, owners, and we build wealth for low to moderate income community members like myself. So this is a snapshot from our actual governance document, our primary document, the bylaws that were established and created by the founding members of Mandela, which I was not one of. I came a year and a half later. But I've highlighted within this 3 of the points that have got us to where we are today, 12 years later. And it's the financial aspects of our business, like really learning how to own and how to run our business. So 1.1.6, to understand the business financial statements, how they tie into operations, how to use them to plan for strategic growth. Next, to always improve and tighten operations and lower costs. That one right there is key. So we're not so much driven and focused on profit. Like, we're focused on tightening our operations and lowering costs. As owners, each of us knows every single item in that store, not only as a point of customer service, but also like the pricing, the vendors, the alternatives. During the pandemic, we were really nimble because we were able to access, substitutes and alternatives for things that would be out of stock. So really knowing, our inventory and keeping our costs low. And next, to intimately know how to own and operate all aspects of a grocery store. They're very specific regarding a grocery store. So just wanted to highlight those things, as much as we have our social imperatives, for cultural unity, mental wealth, having events, connecting to youth, in order to do that 1.1.9, to be a resource in the community and enrich lives and, offer mutual aid, we have to make sure that those three highlighted points are intact and always in motion to improve. So that's our journey. And we're ultimately accountable to these laws, our bylaws. So our service ethic is deeply rooted in our continual understanding and learning of our history and the legacy from which we come. So cooperative legacy and survival and mutual aid, that plays a deep role into how we serve community. People typically don't think of businesses, for-profit businesses, as also mutual aid, sources of mutual aid, but we do that. Like, it is an imperative within our governing documents, as well as, meeting our economic goals. So one of the initiatives we have ongoing, starting at the beginning of the pandemic, is something we call Sunday service. So Sunday service happens every other Sunday, including tomorrow, where we go into the store on our day off, and we make food. Like, we get together, we talk, we share recipes, and we make food for at least 50 of our house's residents. So our goal is 75. We usually do between 50 and 75, but we're upcycling food. So it's a part of our initiative to reduce towards zero food waste. So we're upcycling veggies, frozen veggies that we froze that were sort of turning yellow. Maybe there was some chicken or some ground beef or some other items that reached the sell-by date, so we threw them in the freezer to save them for Sunday service. So how we fund Sunday service is not just, out of our coffers, but we have a physical karma jar on our cash register area. So if you've been to the store, you've seen a jar, it's not a penny jar, it's not a tip jar, it's a karma jar where people give money, give change, coins. Some people get cash back and put a $20 bill in. You can also access the karma jar online. So when you go to our website, the pop-up will come up and it will ask if you want to give to the karma jar. And those funds are going toward paying for these meals for our house's residents, our neighbors. Another initiative we're working on is work as a cooperative, a resident-owned run cooperative in the Acorn community. So Acorn projects, we're organizing with Acorn residents to help them regain access to their unused common areas. They want to start a buying club, and they have the intention to incorporate that buying club over time to be a Acorn resident-controlled cooperative grocery store. So where my cursor is, some of you have probably seen off the basketball courts, there's a community room there that's been vacant and unused for years, and the residents have no access to it. So we're starting to organize and plan how to approach Bridge so they can regain access to that space and do some local, very hyper local community economic activity for food security and within Acorn. At Mandela, we're also reviving, which was the city council resolution. So in 2015, where's my cursor? There's me down there looking a little skeptical, but we were, there was a big movement for a City of Oakland resolution to support worker cooperatives. And you see there's no resolution number, but there is, A's by all the city council members, but nothing came of it. So what happened? We were talking about this in our last network of Bay Area Worker Cooperative meeting, and nobody knows. It's kind of fizzled out. Like we had this moment, and then everybody went back to work. And it's just kind of lost on us. So we're working with our network to get back into this and put this resolution back on the table. So the map on the left is a map of Bay Area Worker Cooperatives. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a network of Bay Area Worker Cooperatives representing at least 91 worker cooperatives in the Bay Area. And you can see on the map that there's a high concentration of worker cooperatives in Oakland, Berkeley area, and also San Francisco. So we have a very high concentration of cooperatives in the country. So that's pretty major. And also, if you didn't know, Oakland is the hub for worker cooperatives and worker cooperative developers. So Oakland is home to California's first worker cooperative academy, which Mandela was a part of at Laney College in 2015, I believe, 14 or 15. Oakland is the headquarters for the U.S. Federation of Worker Cooperatives, the Democracy at Work Institute, the Sustainable Economies Law Center, Project Equity, and the Arizmendi Association of Cooperatives. So we have the leading cooperative developers in the country right here at home in Oakland. So we are well situated to develop the expertise at the city level to promote and ensure the development of worker cooperatives as an economic development strategy. So what worker cooperatives need to flourish? So we need quality co-op education, and you see the asterisk there. We need alternative financing, ideally non-extractive financing, comprehensive support from stable institutions. And going back to that asterisk, what we need is education that is specific to the businesses and the industries that we're in. So gone are the days where we're accepting generalized consulting, business consulting. Like it doesn't work for all businesses. It doesn't work for grocery in particular, especially grocery businesses in a neighborhood of food apartheid. So we have to be really specific, and we have to be just wise in how we seek and pay for consulting and business services. So how are we going to fund that? How are we going to fund these needs that we have? Through a progressive business tax, through those revenues. So you may have heard that there is on the table a progressive business tax. Hopefully will be on our ballots in November. And if placed on the ballot and approved by us, the voters, Oakland's progressive business tax, it also has a name for a big business tax and small business fair tax initiative. So there are a number of names, but it's expected to raise an additional, at least on the lower end, around $32 million for the city. So part of what we recommend with NOBOS for that use of funds is that significant revenue be used to support small business loans, as Berkeley has and other cities have, a revolving loan fund for worker cooperative businesses, funding a range of initiatives that would support and attract and the retention of worker-owned businesses, increase funding to keep commercial neighborhoods clean and welcoming in Oakland's most underserved neighborhoods. So if you've been to LA lately, you've probably seen trash, a lot of trash. It's us next door to the credit union, and anchored on the corner are two vacant business, commercial spaces. So we just need more love over there. And sometimes love looks like more trash cans, and more services and more attention and more care to just keeping the streets clean. Another recommendation is efforts to make the commercial retail spaces more accessible and affordable for the youth-led ventures and also low-income entrepreneurs in underserved neighborhoods. I wish I had more pictures here, but more cooperative specific use of funds that we need that could derive from these revenues or funds to promote worker cooperatives as a business model through outreach and education, through city services, facilitates succession planning among businesses with retiring owners. So we're in the midst of a silver tsunami. A lot of the baby boomers are retiring, and there's a wave of businesses that instead of closing historic businesses, they could opt to sell the business to the workers as an exit strategy. So that's something that the city could promote. Like I said, we have the expertise to help move that in a very intelligent way. Create markets for worker cooperatives by giving them preferences to cooperatives. Giving preferences to cooperatives in contracting and purchasing. Invest in worker cooperatives through grants to cooperative incubators, and offer low interest loans to finance cooperative startups. And also, among many others, but to streamline the regulatory processes and reduce land use fees and business taxes for newly formed worker cooperative startups and conversions. That was a lot. And what we can do now is support our existing Black Bay Area worker cooperatives. So we have a few right here in our area. 3 of these are in Oakland and 1 is in Berkeley on the border, but we have, Mandela Grocery Shop, the co-op, support the efforts of the emerging Deep Grocery Co-op, who's looking for a brick and mortar space in Deep East Oakland. There's Alchemy Collective Cafe and Roaster in South Berkeley. They are Black trans coffee roaster and cafe, and also the East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative that recently purchased Esther's Orbit Room. And that's all I have for us today. Usually I'm long-winded, but that went kind of fast. So thanks again for your time. I hope that was fruitful, and I welcome any questions you have.